Hey guys, welcome to this video by SportKickCat. Today is my roundup of week 1 of the 2013 Six Nations. We had some great opening games. Let's look at the lineup. England began their campaign at home to the old enemy of Scotland. Ireland took on Wales and Italy faced the might of joint favourites France. Our main event today is England versus Scotland. But before we get on to that, Ireland versus Wales was a clash of the titans. Two teams with their eye on the trophy this year. Ireland's Tommy Bowe was out of this one, and Keith Earls sat on the bench alongside Ronan O'Gara to make way for young talent on the Irish wings in Simon Zebo and Craig Gilroy. Wales, meanwhile, were at full strength. Ireland took this epic try-fest 30 points to 22, and they dominated the early stages, Zebo feeding off Brian O'Driscoll for the opening try. More came, with O'Driscoll and Cian Healy scoring, and the points total was helped along by Johnny Sexton's boot. Then came the Welsh comeback. Alex Cuthbert went through the Irish defence like a hot knife through butter to score first, and his example was followed by Lee Halfpenny and Craig Mitchell. But the 30-point deficit was too much, and the first game of this year's championship provided 2 points for Ireland. Next up, the French Les Bleus travelled to Rome to face an up-and-coming Italy. The French team looked very, very strong, with their star man of last year, Wesley Fofana, moved from number 12 to the right wing. Italy looked very average before kick-off, but after it they proceeded to make what will surely be the upset of the tournament, beating France for the second time in their history, 23-18. The Azzurri got off to a flyer. Sergio Parise finished off a brilliant early move after 5 minutes to take a shock 7-point lead. Louis Picamol then scored, but Michalak missed and the score was 7-5. Benjamin Fall ran in, finishing a length of the field move with a composed finish, and both Luciano Walkera and Michalak kept the score ticking over. Martin Castrogiovanni got a try for the Italians, Chris Burton scored a drop goal, and the French had one massive last push to the try line after the 80th minute. But with the deficit at 5, Italy held on. And finally, today's main event as England entertained the Scots. Scotland's team featured Chris Hogg, a young man who has made a name for himself in the Scottish team as part of a back three that interim coach Scott Johnson said had acquired jet shoes. England had a strong bench with Courtney Laws, James Haskell and Toby Flood lying in wait, and a strong pack with Joes, Launchbury and Marler the only question marks before kick-off. Billy Twelvetrees made his debut as a replacement for the injured Manu Tuolangi. England ran riot in this one, taking the win by 20 points, 38-18. Scotland scored the first try though, Sean Maitland finishing in the corner barely 10 minutes in. England, namely Chris Ashton, replied 20 minutes later. Joe Launchbury came short, but quick recycling let Ashton through despite the best efforts of Hogg. In the second half, England began their domination. Tries coming from Twelvetrees, his first ever, and Jeff Parling. Scotland's fate was eventually sealed as Danny Kerr dived over between the post after the clock went red. And so, after the first weekend, England are at the top and sitting pretty, looking in a very good position to go to Dublin next week to face Ireland, who sit in second. Italy, meanwhile, will be overjoyed with their performance so far. They face 6th place Scotland in 7 days at Murrayfield. Wales v France in Paris will be a very interesting game. 4th versus 5th, and yet 2 of the teams we'd have expected to be near the top at this stage. Very, very interesting championship so far. Next week's games will be intriguing. Thank you very, very much for watching, guys. Remember to comment, like and subscribe. It's all absolutely free and it really does help. Follow me on Twitter at Geek773 and visit my website at www.geekweb.tk. Thank you again for watching. Goodbye.